watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
Thanks for joining us here at 6 a.m. Hope you had a nice weekend, everyone. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. It's going to be a great week. Let's check in with meteorologist Vanessa Paz to tell us what the weather will be like. What should we be wearing every day?
Right.
Vanessa, tank tops again?
Yeah. I mean, in the morning, if you're sensitive to the 60s like I am, maybe light sweater. But
Okay.
yes,
Sweater's
you can
good.
shed layers. Layers
Okay.
is going to be key. You can shed those layers as we approach the noon hour because that's when things rapidly warm up, especially for the inland spots. We're seeing a lot less clouds, and therefore that means that it's going to warm up rather quickly as we get to the 11 p.m., 12 o'clock hour, or 11 a.m., 12 o'clock hour. All right, it is 6 a.m. on the dot. Let's go ahead and start things off with a live look outside. A gorgeous shot from our Mount Woodson Skycam out in Poway. You can see that inversion layer. Sun will fully rise at 6:14 in about 15 minutes or so, setting tonight at 7:30. Here's a quick look at conditions right now. We're waking up cloudy. Some of those clouds are hindering visibility, especially for areas like Ramona. And here's what you can expect for today's highs. Soak it in. Today will be the coolest day of the next 7. We'll talk about the warm up we're expecting for the inland valleys in the days ahead. That's all ahead. All right, 6:01 is the time. Let's go ahead and switch gears and see what's happening on your freeways. This is the 5 in both directions right at Genesee. Coming at your screen is the southbound drive, right side northbound drive headed towards Del Mar. We are tracking a crash involving a single car on the 5 North right at the 54. That could plug things up for you if you're headed in from Chula Vista near East Street. As we go to zoom on out, we're looking at full freeway speeds coming up in about 5-7 minutes or so. We'll take a look at your Monday drive times. Netta.
All right. Thank you very much, Vanessa, for the updates there. And now in just a couple of hours, people against the city of San Diego's trash fee will be gathering for a rally.
Right now, a group of taxpayers is challenging the constitutionality of the fee. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live downtown with reaction from both sides here. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. That's right. The San Diego City Council actually approved this trash fee for single-family homes back in. Well, it took effect in July, but of course there's been pushback because of this trash fee. And I want to break down what this means and why this rally is happening. We know that plaintiffs as well as residents and attorneys will be at this rally starting at 10 a.m. Now, for some background, back in 2022, voters approved Measure B, which ended the no-fee trash pickup for the majority of single-family homes in the city. In June of this year, the San Diego City Council voted for the trash fee to cost homeowners between $32 or $43 a month, depending on the size of their trash bin. The city added the cost to San Diego County's property tax bills, but residents have expressed strong opposition, some saying they were unaware of how much the fee would end up costing them. The Office of Council President Joe LaCava says one of the reasons Measure B passed was because of the inequity of not charging everyone a trash fee. Before the measure, 220,000 households didn't pay for the trash. They add that road repair, police and fire, libraries and other city services were covered by everyone else's payments, but not those 220,000 households. Now, former city attorney Michael Aguirre, he is representing taxpayers in a lawsuit that claims the city's new trash fee is unconstitutional.
I want to have the judge say that you didn't comply with the Constitution and it has to be set aside. And you're going to have to come up with a better plan.
And so Aguirre is wanting to get this case to go to trial before the city of San Diego actually collects this trash fee. That's why this rally is taking place starting at 10 a.m. Again, city attorneys, plaintiffs, as well as residents, they will all gather at that rally. And we'll keep you guys updated with more details on that. For now, I'm Regina Urita, CBS 8.
All right, Regina, thank you for the update. And now this morning, the CHP, FAA, and NTSB continued their investigation of that emergency plane landing right on the 805. So take a look here. It landed on the southbound lanes right near Carroll Canyon just after 5:30 p.m. This was Saturday. Caught a lot of people's attention, right? You don't see this every day. It rammed into the center divide, damaging the plane, as you saw, but did not hit any cars, thankfully. Both people inside the plane made it out safely. Amazing. We are told the plane was a rental flying out of Montgomery Field. According to FlightAware, the plane flew to the coast, then headed north. It was returning when CHP officers say a mechanical failure forced the emergency landing. The plane was later towed off of the freeway.
At 10 a.m. our time, Ukraine's president set to arrive at the White House for a high-stakes meeting with President Donald Trump.
Yeah, the two, along with other European leaders, will discuss bringing the war in Ukraine to an end. CBS 8's Chris Grow live in studio now to tell us all we know about this meeting, what's expected today. Chris?
Yeah, and it's already looking a little bit different than the last time we saw these leaders meet, because if you remember, President Zelensky's first time back to the White House under the Trump administration was that tumultuous meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance and President Donald Trump. But this time he's going with a group of European leaders and both sides hoping for progress in these talks. Of course, this coming on the heels of President Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska, and Trump is expected to present Russia's demands in this meeting.
Deal until there's a deal.
It's very difficult because Ukraine obviously feels, harmed, and rightfully so, because they were invaded. And the Russian side, because they feel like they've got momentum in the battlefield and frankly don't care. Don't seem to care very much about how many Russian soldiers die in this endeavor.
Among the Russian demands, so-called land swaps that would see front lines frozen where they are now in effect. Ukraine would lose about 20% of its eastern region. That includes the much disputed territory of Crimea, which was illegally annexed by Russia in 2014. President Trump posted on Truth Social that Ukraine would have to give up Crimea and never join NATO. The president has also backed off a push for a ceasefire. Instead, he believes the two sides could go directly for a peace agreement. President Zelensky disagrees. In fact, Zelensky doesn't believe there can be a push directly to peace without that ceasefire first, and wants to be at the table with Russia when negotiations are made.
Deciding what we are going to discuss in Washington. It's impossible to do this under the pressure of weapons. So it's necessary to cease fire.
According to White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Putin agreed to Ukraine receiving NATO-like security guarantees from the U.S. and European allies. What that looks like, though, is unclear, especially given in President Trump's Truth Social post about Crimea, he also claimed that Ukraine will not enter NATO. Eric?
Chris, thanks for the update. Today, California lawmakers returned to Sacramento after the summer recess. This comes after state Democrats released their proposed congressional map that aims to flip 5 Republican-held seats. That includes District 48 in San Diego, represented by Republican Congressman Darrell Issa. It would be redrawn to move most of the East and South County areas into districts currently held by Democrats. It would also add the city of Palm Springs, which leans Democrat. Statewide, this map would leave only 4 safe Republican seats and strengthen the position of Democrats in swing districts. The legislature has until Friday to approve putting the map before voters in a special election in November. This only moves forward if Texas Republicans push through their plan to redraw maps to give them an additional 5 seats in the House of Representatives. Today is the first day of school for more districts around San Diego County. Happy first day back, everyone. This includes Lakeside, Borrego Springs, Coronado, and Ramona Unified School Districts. So more schools heading back.
Yes, everyone's getting their first day of school outfits on, probably laid them out the night before.
New routines.
Yeah, what's the weather going to be like as far as kids at recess?
I feel like that's what I try to do too, similar to back to or to kiddos, lay out the outfits before you go to bed, right? Do you guys do that, or is it just me?
One less thing to think about.
Right.
One less thing to think about, especially the hours we wake up. Yeah, it matters. Every minute matters. 6:08 is the time. Happy back to school day for a lot of those kids out there. 6:08 on your Monday as we go ahead and take a look outside. We're looking at overcast conditions. Most of those clouds are hugging the immediate coast as well as the beach neighborhoods. We're seeing a lot less clouds in the mix, especially for interior parts of the county, and that's actually resulting into somewhat of a cooler start as you get your day going. So right now we're inching close to that 70-degree mark, especially for the coastal areas, including downtown as well as Chula Vista. Mid to low 60s in Santee as well as Escondido, and in Julian officially in the 60s, 64 at last check. All right, here's what you can expect as we get your work week going. We have this ridge of high pressure. It's backed off. It's been centered over Texas, northern Texas, but that's going to change looking ahead to the coming days. In fact, that ridging is going to move a lot more westward, and that's going to usher in very warm temperatures, especially for interior parts parts of the county. It's also going to push in some subtropical moisture, and that's going to give us an uptick in humidity levels and the possibility for thunderstorms, especially when it comes to the mountains and desert areas. So here's what we're talking about when it comes to that warm up. I mean, I'm telling you now, soak in the comfortable conditions while they're here, because looking ahead towards the middle of the week, we're going to see them soar to about the 90s, not as hot as the last heat wave that we endured about a week or so ago, but we'll be pushing into the low 90s for areas across the inland valleys all the way through about the weekend, and then temperatures are slowly going to start to drop. We'll talk more about the extreme heat watches that will be in effect starting Thursday and who they'll be impacting ahead. All right, it is 6:10 on your Monday morning. Trying to figure out what day it is here as we give you a live look. This is the 5 in both directions right at E Street. So far, so good. However, we are tracking a couple of crashes. We have one on the 94 right where it meets the 125 involving a couple of cars. It's not causing any major delays nor slowing as of last check. And then we have this one that came in a few minutes ago as well on the 5 north at the 54 split. That could plug things up for you if you're headed in from Chula Vista towards the 54 near the mile of cars. But as of right now, we're still averaging full freeway speeds. As we go and zoom on out, about 69, 72 miles per hour coming in from Chula Vista and National City via the 5 as well as the 805. And if you're traveling in from Santee and La Mesa this morning, about 65, 70 mile per hour speeds. No major issues nor delays out of Oceanside or Escondido. Average speeds about 65 miles per hour. Travel time still on the green. We are seeing full span of the bridge headed towards a toll booth in from downtown. About a 5-minute drive for you. And if you're traveling in from the East County headed westbound, whether that's on the 94, the 8, or the 52, your average travel times 5 to 7 minutes at last check. And if you're traveling in from the North County headed southbound, Encinitas down to the top of the Golden Triangle will take you under 30, about 10 or so in from Escondido, and full span from Vista, that Nordal exit area, all the way towards Oceanside, about a 15-minute drive. All right, let's go ahead and see what's happening with your border wait times as of last check. Ooh, starting to climb here, about an hour or so in from San Ysidro's port of entry, and about an hour 30 or so from Otay Mesa's port of entry at last check.